Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're doing something a bit different. Instead of our usual research focus, we're diving into some really unsettling true stories.
First-hand accounts.
Exactly. First-hand accounts of terrifying experiences people have had out camping in the wilderness. These aren't made-up campfire tales. These are things that genuinely happened to people.
Real encounters that turned, well, pretty dark.
Yeah, when that peace you're looking for just becomes dread. We've gathered these stories from various places, and today we really want to get into the fear, the psychology behind them.
What makes them so chilling?
Right. So maybe buckle up. These are pretty intense.
Let's start.
Okay, first one. This involves a group of friends just out of high school. They go camping in a national park, but they decide, let's set up away from the official spots for privacy.
Common enough thing to do.
Totally. Picture it. Nice clearing, bit of a slope with bushes nearby, fires going, got some beers open, moonlight. Seems perfect.
The ideal setup.
Until about 10 p.m. That's when things changed. They hear this sound, people walking downhill through the bushes, right towards their camp.
Okay, that's immediately putting you on edge.
For sure. They figure maybe it's just other campers, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then these figures emerge, maybe 6 of them, from the trees at the bottom of the slope.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the weird part. They stop
Mm-hmm.
right at the tree line. They don't come into the clearing. They just stand there, huddled,
Just watching.
And the really striking thing, they're all dressed completely in white. The moonlight hits them, and they almost seem to glow, really eerie against the dark woods.
All in white, that's specific.
Yeah. So one of the friends, D, tries to be friendly, calls out, hey, how's it going?
And how's it gets?
Nothing. Silence. D tries again, like, just having some beers, nice night, what are you guys up to? Still, absolute silence from the group, just standing there.
That's incredibly unnerving, the lack of response.
It gets worse. One of the figures steps away from the group, walks towards them slowly, stops just outside the firelight. So still kind of in shadow, but close, staring down at them.
Oh, wow.
Dee's clearly freaked out now, starts kind of rambling, nervous chatter, trying to get any reaction. But the man cuts him off, mid-sentence,
With
a question. His voice was low, slow. You couldn't really read any emotion, maybe a bit flat, definitely not friendly.
Yeah.
He asks, how long will you be here for?
chilling. Just flat like that.
Yeah. The narrator said they'd planned for 2 nights, but instantly this awful gut feeling hits them. He just blurts out, we're leaving first thing tomorrow morning. His friends are like murmuring agreement, terrified.
Smart move, trusting that feeling.
Absolutely. The man just keeps staring.
Yeah.
And that's when the narrator notices his clothes better. Still all white, but his top,
Yeah.
it was like a thin cotton baseball jersey,
Yeah.
plain white. But it was cold. Cold enough you could see the guy's breath. He should have been freezing in just that thin jersey, but he didn't seem bothered at all, just staring, while the others stayed back at the trees, motionless.
That detail adds another layer of strangeness, disconnected from the environment.
Exactly. Then the man speaks again. Same flat voice. He says, you're leaving tomorrow morning.
Not a question.
Not a question. A statement. A declaration, almost. They all just stare. Yes, definitely leaving tomorrow. He seems satisfied, turns around, walks back to the silent group.
And they leave.
Whole group turns and starts walking back up the slope, back into the trees, into the darkness. The campers wait until they can't hear them anymore. Absolute silence. Then just nervous whispers.
I can only imagine.
Sleep was probably impossible.
Totally impossible. They tried to relax, put on music, have another beer, but they were completely rattled. And worse, they said that feeling, that intense feeling of being watched, it never left. All night.
Like eyes on them from the dark.
Yeah. They just stayed huddled in their tents. Felt like prey, the narrator said.
Waiting for dawn.
Exactly. Up at first light, packed in a mad rush, got in the car, and just drove. Said the feeling of being followed, or trailed, stayed with them until they were well clear back on a main road.
And then the inevitable, what was that?
Theories start. Right. Cults, weirdos, aliens, trying to make sense of it. But then there's a final kicker to this story.
Oh.
They need gas, pull into this petrol station in a really remote, kind of desolate town near the park. The guy behind the counter, narrator, described him as a no-bullshit cowboy type.
Okay. Local, knows the area.
Precisely. They hesitantly tell him what happened, probably expecting him to laugh or brush it off.
But she didn't.
No. He got really quiet, listened intently. Then he just looked at them, real serious, and said, you kids were real lucky last night.
Wow. That confirmation.
Yeah, that validation from a local who clearly knew something. That maybe hit harder than the encounter itself. because it made it real, flesh and blood danger.
That confirmation from the attendant is what really chills you here. It takes it out of the realm of, did that really happen? Was it just weird? And plants it firmly into, you were in serious danger.
Exactly. It anchors the fear.
And the silence, the lack of overt threats, the weirdness of the white clothes, it's almost more frightening than direct aggression. It's unpredictable. You have no idea what their limits are, what they might do next. That ambiguity is terrifying in itself.
It really is. You mentioned the uncanny valley of human intent that feels spot on. Normal rules just don't seem to apply.
Precisely. When human behavior deviates so sharply from the expected, especially in an isolated place, our threat sensors go haywire. And that deliberate appearance, the white clothes, the stillness, it's almost ritualistic.
Like a performance meant to intimidate.
Or dehumanize them, make them seem other. The thin jersey in the cold adds to that impervious, detached. It's a psychological power play, absolutely. And his final statement, you're leaving tomorrow morning.
Yeah, that command.
It's asserting dominance over the space. Like, this is our territory, you're intruders, and you will leave. It highlights that the biggest danger out there isn't always bears or weather. Sometimes it's other people.
A really unsettling thought. Which leads perfectly into our next story, actually. Because sometimes the threat isn't strangers in white.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's someone you know or thought you knew.
Ooh, this sounds different.
Yeah. This account is about an old high school acquaintance. Let's call him Bob. The narrator says Bob was always a little off, maybe socially awkward, possibly had some learning difficulties. He dropped out before senior year.
Okay, so someone on the fringes a bit.
Right. So 2 years after graduation, completely out of the blue, Bob calls the narrator. He wants him to go camping. With Bob and another friend, the narrator doesn't know at all.
That's random after 2 years of no contact.
Extremely random. And Bob was apparently really pushy about it, really trying to sell the trip, saying it'd be awesome, so much fun. Kept emphasizing they hiked like 5 miles a day, way out to a totally secluded spot. Just the three of them.
The insistence is weird.
Exactly. And the narrator felt it. He said, listening to Bob, something deep down from the pit of my stomach just screamed, no. It felt wrong. Too weird, too sudden, too insistent.
That gut feeling again.
Yeah. So trusting that instinct, the narrator made an excuse and declined the invitation. Said he couldn't make it.
Good call, probably.
You have no idea. Just a few months after that phone call, Bob is on the news.
What for?
He'd murdered his partner and stolen money from the armored van service where he worked. Tried to flee the state, but got caught.
Whoa. Okay, that's a huge escalation.
Massive. But here's the truly horrifying part. When Bob went to trial, they entered his journal as evidence.
And in the journal?
The prosecutor read passages out loud. Bob had written, in detail, about a plan. A plan he had with his friend.
The friend from the camping trip invitation?
The exact same friend. Their plan, written down in the journal, was to become professional assassins.
Oh, my God.
And the narrator realized, with absolute sickening horror, that camping trip, the secluded spot, miles from anywhere, it wasn't about bonding.
It was practice.
It was practice. Bob and his friend were going to lure him out there to practice how to murder someone, namely him.
That is bone-chilling to realize you were potentially the intended first victim.
The sheer proximity to that kind of premeditated evil hidden behind a casual invitation from someone familiar.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
That's a different kind of horror altogether, isn't it? Not the fear of the unknown stranger, but the betrayal of the known. The realization that someone you shared space with, even peripherally, could harbor such darkness.
It completely messes with your sense of safety.
It does. It shatters the assumptions we make about people in our social sphere. Bob was a little off, but that's a huge leap to planning murder. It makes you question your own judgment, how well you can ever truly know someone.
And it really validates that gut feeling the narrator had, that pit of the stomach reaction.
Absolutely critical. That intuition, that primal warning system likely saved his life. Sometimes our subconscious picks up on inconsistencies, on things that aren't quite right, even when we can't consciously articulate why. It's a reminder to listen to that inner voice, especially when something feels off, even if it seems illogical at the time.
Definitely. Which ties into our next story, too, about a mother's intuition being absolutely crucial.
Okay.
This one involves the narrator camping with their mother and their little brother, who was about 6 at the time.
Family trip.
Yeah. They're at their campsite, and this white pickup truck pulls up. 3 or 4 guys get out.
Uninvited visitors.
Yeah. And straight away, something's off. The men all have these small, bright white lights attached to their hats, like headlamps, but aimed sort of forward.
Blinding them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Made it impossible to see their faces clearly. Seemed deliberate, immediately uncomfortable.
Red flag right there. Obscuring identity.
Totally. Then these guys walk over and start asking them other questions. Who are you? What are your plans? Stay in the night? Just intrusive stuff.
Getting personal.
Very. The little brother starts whimpering, gets scared, drops his chips. And the mother just gets this overwhelming feeling of unease. Like deep down, something is very, very wrong here.
Maternal instinct kicking in hard.
For sure. After about 5 minutes of this weird questioning, the men leave.
Yeah.
As they're going, they claim they're official campground employees just doing checks.
But
But the truck looked anything but official, just a plain white pickup. And the guys, no uniforms, no badges, no ID, nothing. Just random dudes in a truck asking invasive questions in the dark with lights blinding you.
yeah, that doesn't track at all. Highly suspicious.
So the mother, trusting that powerful gut feeling, she doesn't hesitate. Tells the kids, get in the car.
Yeah.
Now.
Quick thinking.
Very. They grab just a few essentials, clothes, some food. But, and this was clever, they leave the tent up, leave most of their gear there.
To make it look like they're still around.
Exactly. Create the illusion they just stepped away or were asleep inside. Then they drove straight to their grandmother's house nearby and stayed the night there. Didn't go back.
Smart. Very smart move.
The next morning, after explaining what happened, they go back to the campsite to retrieve their stuff.
And what did they find?
Chilling confirmation.
Yeah.
Their belongings had obviously been gone through, rummaged through. There were footprints leading right up to the tent entrance.
Oh, wow.
The zipper on the tent door, which they were certain they'd left fully closed, was now stuck halfway open. Like someone tried to zip it back up hastily and failed.
They tried to get in or did get in.
They got in. Because the worst part, inside the tent, on their sleeping bags, there were muddy footprints.
No. On the sleeping bags themselves?
On the sleeping bags?
Yeah.
The narrator ends the story just wondering what would have happened if we'd stayed.
That is terrifying. The mother's quick action, based purely on that feeling, it almost certainly prevented something awful. That discovery the next day is just violating.
It really is.
It confirms the men's intentions were absolutely not benign. They came back, they breached the tent, the footprints on the sleeping bags. It's incredibly invasive. It shows they weren't just curious, they were likely looking for occupants, or worse. It's a stark reminder that even designated campsites aren't always safe havens.
That detail, the footprints on the sleeping bags, is just, it feels so personal, so targeted somehow.
It signifies a complete disregard for personal boundaries and safety. It's an intimate intrusion into their most vulnerable space. It implies that had the family been inside, they would have been confronted. The mother's decision to leave, and crucially, to make it look like they hadn't left, likely bought them the time they needed to get away before that confrontation could happen. It's a testament to trusting your instincts in potentially dangerous situations.
Absolutely chilling. This theme of danger lurking where you expect peace, it leads us to our final account. And this one, unfortunately, ends in tragedy.
Okay.
This story comes from someone whose father was a journalist and author, and he used to hike the Appalachian Trail.
A famous long trail. Lots of hikers.
Exactly. She usually hiked solo, enjoyed the solitude, but like many thru hikers, he'd sometimes meet people, hike with them for a bit, camp together. Usually really positive experiences.
Thinking trail friends, yeah.
On one trip, he met a couple, Jeff and Molly. Described them as just a really nice couple. They hit it off, hiked together, shared a campsite for a couple of days, formed that quick trail bond.
Sounds like a typical pleasant encounter.
It was. But eventually, their paces differed. The father was faster, so they parted ways, friendly goodbyes, and he pulled ahead, getting about 2 days further down the trail.
Right. Happens all the time on long trails.
Yeah. Then he stops in a town along the trail, needs supplies, maybe a real meal, a break, and that's when he hears the news.
What news?
Horrifying news. Jeff and Molly, the couple he'd just been camping with 2 days prior, had been murdered.
What? On the trail?
On the trail.
Yeah.
In their sleep. At their campsite. By a stranger.
Oh my God. That's horrific.
The details were brutal. Apparently Molly was sexually assaulted and stabbed multiple times. Jeff was shot. Just unbelievable violence, completely random.
That's absolutely sickening.
The narrator sharing the story just emphasizes the terror of it. Absolutely terrifying that my dad had just camped with them just days before. That proximity.
That is profoundly disturbing. The randomness of it, striking people who were just living their dream, hiking the trail, in a place that symbolizes freedom and nature.
It completely shatters that illusion.
It does. It highlights the terrifying reality that monstrous acts can happen anywhere, anytime, without reason or warning. To think you shared a fire conversation space with someone just days before they met such a violent end, the psychological impact of that is immense.
You'd constantly be thinking, that could have been me, or what if I'd stayed with them?
Exactly. Survivor's guilt, a shattering of your sense of security in that environment, maybe forever. It underscores the frightening vulnerability we all have, even when we feel safest or most removed from the dangers of, say, a city. Sometimes the wilderness holds its own very human horrors.
That contrast is so stark, isn't it? The beauty of a place like the Appalachian Trail against such brutal, senseless violence.
It really is. And that randomness makes it somehow worse. It's not a targeted attack where you might, in hindsight, see warning signs. It's just chaos erupting in supposed serenity. It forces a confrontation with the idea that evil can be motiveless, unpredictable, and can touch anyone, anywhere. For the father, knowing he was right there just days before, that proximity to tragedy is a heavy burden.
A burden he probably carried for a long time.
Undoubtedly. It changes your perception of the world, of safety, of humanity itself.
So we've covered some truly chilling ground today, these accounts. They're stark reminders that the peace we seek in nature isn't always guaranteed.
The human element can be the most unpredictable variable.
Definitely. These aren't just stories. They're real experiences, highlighting how vulnerable we can be, even when we feel far removed from everyday dangers. It really makes you think, doesn't it?
About intuition, about malice, about randomness.
Yeah. The power of that gut feeling, the shock of encountering genuine ill intent, and just the terrifying unpredictability of it all. These stories are a potent reminder, maybe, to stay aware, to trust those instincts.
And to remember that shadows can exist even in the most beautiful places.
Well said. If these accounts have resonated with you, if you want to hear more true, spine-chilling stories, please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Horror Docs.
It helps us keep bringing these narratives to light.
It does. Until next time, please stay safe out there.
Indeed. Be aware. Take care.